More than 7 million students study abroad globally, of which more than 20% are Indian students. One thing which I recommend to all the students is that don't go abroad.
Is there any way to study free in abroad? और इंडिया में ये प्रॉब्लम है, why क्लियर नहीं रहता है किसी का. They wanted to go abroad somehow.
पाथ तो पता है बट क्यों करना ये नहीं पता.
Entrepreneurship का कीड़ा आपको ज़्यादा था, इनको कम था.
When I was going and sitting for IIT applying for JEE, the chances was less than 1%. यहाँ तो फिर भी 3-4% है तो वो बहुत है मेरे लिए.
How do you see the Ambitio position in the market?
We understood the problem, but the solution that we created, a 10x better solution as compared to what it is available in the market.
जब स्टार्टअप करना ही है मास्टर्स के बाद तो अब क्यों नहीं.
Top 3 mistakes students make while applying colleges abroad.
Number one mistake students make is.
So hello friends, welcome to Startup Manch. My name is Bhavik Gupta and today we have not one but two guests. Both are from IIT BHU, both are co-founder and both are friends. So I'm really excited for today's podcast with Dirghayu, who is the CEO of Ambitio, and Vikrant, who is the COO of Ambitio. So Ambitio is the AI-driven software platform which helps students to study abroad. Ambitio is an AI copilot for higher education across the world. It makes 10x easier for application to apply and get accepted to the top university globally. So if you are looking for a higher education and study abroad, please listen this full podcast. So welcome to Startup Manch, Dirghayu and Vikrant. Nice to have you with today's podcast. So could you please tell us about your journey of Ambitio and how you started, like whose idea is this and what is the journey so far?
So firstly, thanks Bhavik for having us here. Ambitio started as a way to solve the problem which we faced firsthand. After graduating from IIT BHU, I was working in a US-based startup Truckbook as a founding product manager. Grew the team from 1% team to 50 people team during my time there. And at that point in time, the founders were based out of SF, right? And they proposed an idea like, hey Dirghayu, why don't you do your masters abroad? Come here, we'll even sponsor your masters, and you can work part-time here with us alongside your masters. So I thought, why not, right? That's where I thought, like let's start exploring the plan of masters, and then that's where I also started discussing with Vikrant, who was already applying to masters. At that point, when I was doing this research and everything, right, I figured that there are a lot of problems in this space which students face, like me, right? And I thought something can be built in this space. So I eventually dropped my plans of master and started Ambitio to solve the problem which I faced firsthand.
So I was pretty clear about doing masters since my second year already. So I went for internship in UK at Cardiff University in my second year already. That's where I thought, yaar, masters to we need to do. And I was pretty clear. I was doing that research only. During that process itself, I got admitted to Imperial College London as well. During that process itself, I went through the journey, and while I was getting admits, while I was working on my application itself, that's where Dirghayu also thought कि यार ये भी चीज़ try कर सकते हैं and it can be a good solution to this space. That's how the discussion started and eventually have started Ambitio.
But you told that you got into the Imperial College of London. So it is one of the second ranked university in all the world if you tell. How did you get that?
During my journey as well, I knew that I didn't had a very great CGPA. I had a CGPA of 8.01, and to apply for Imperial College London, the bare minimum eligibility was 8.0 CGPA. So I was just above the brink to apply. But when I talked to a lot of people, they told me that it can be difficult, but at the end of the day, it's not going to be impossible. I also thought that when I was going and sitting for IIT applying for JEE, the chances was less than 1%. यहाँ तो फिर भी 3-4% है तो वो बहुत है मेरे लिए. I discussed with a lot of people, reached out to a lot of folks and understood कि यार क्या चीज़ें हैं which I need to focus upon right in terms of application along with the college process. And सही से चीजें करो तो then eventually you get it.
So it's great that you got the opportunity. Nice here. And Dirghayu, how did you convince him for Ambitio?
Vikrant and I have known each other for more than 8 years now.
From BHU.
So he was one of the first friend I made when I went to college, right? And we have been roommates since second year of college. In terms of convincing, so the problem, I was part of the entrepreneurship cell, Vikrant was there as well. The idea that we want to do something of our own was already there since our college days.
Okay. And you worked with your e-cell in ITBHU. So that might have helped you to convince as well.
No, so Vikrant was also part of it in some way. I was also discussing with Vikrant that he was able to resonate with the problem statement as well. But I said ultimately was कि जब startup करना ही है masters के बाद तो अब क्यों नहीं?
Entrepreneurship का कीड़ा आपको ज़्यादा था, इनको कम था.
नहीं, I would say बराबर ही था, but because I started entrepreneurship cell in my college, I was very active into entrepreneurship as a culture per se, speaking with a lot of alumni founders, VCs and whatnot.
मतलब आई थिंक मेजरली हम दोनों के कहते हैं करना तो कुछ अपना ही है फॉर श्योर, बट व्हाट विल बी द राइट टाइम. तो हम लोगों का प्लान था कि मे बी मास्टर्स के बाद यूएस में जाके वी वुड सी समथिंग, बट ड्यूरिंग द जर्नी हमें लगा कि यार ये एक अच्छी प्रॉब्लम है, तो व्हाई नॉट नाउ, व्हाई आफ्टर मास्टर्स.
And it's actually a great time because you are in the age of like 25 to 30, and it's a great stage. And we have a startup ecosystem also. If you are seeing, different VCs are funding and incubators are there, so ecosystem also has been established. So it is great that you guys have started. Can you tell us about your revenue models and status of the Ambitio, like how's currently, how many teams you are working, and what is the total strength of the team?
We have a slightly different approach when you compare with the other players in the market. We charge students simply a subscription fee for a particular admission cycle they need assistance for. It's a platform subscription, right, which they essentially pay for. Price ranges from $100 to $1,000. In terms of current traction where we are in the journey, we have more than 35,000 signups onto our platform with around 400 paying customers. Team size is around 35 people. We were earlier doing a POC because as I told you earlier, right, we were thinking about our masters alongside our tinkering the idea of Ambitio as well. And then we left our job.
How many people applied for to go abroad? Do you have any numbers?
Yeah, sure. So I'll give you an interesting fact, right, in terms of the Indian market. More than 7 million students study abroad globally, of which more than 20% are Indian students. So the Indian market has been growing at a very rapid pace. Just last year, more than 1 million students went to study abroad just from India.
So Dirghayu, tell me, how does the study abroad market works in India?
Study abroad market in India, right? You can divide it into two types of players that exist in the ecosystem: the recruitment agents and the admission counselors. The recruitment agents are in some ways consultants who work with universities abroad. In some ways, their business model is they have to fill the seats, they have quotas to meet of these universities abroad by sending them and helping them recruit students from India.
For the consulting part.
Yeah, for the consulting part. And then there are the premium admission counselors, technically speaking, right, who charge students a hefty fee.
Okay.
But in return, they actually work on their profile, their application, and give them a best possible shot in their colleges they want to apply to.
Okay, just I'm a student too. So if I want to go, so whom should I approach? I should go for a consulting or admission counselor.
What we advise is, before even going to any of these players or in the ecosystem, right, you should understand why you want to study abroad. One thing which I recommend to all the students is that don't go abroad just for sake of going abroad. As a student, once you have figured why you want to study abroad, then you want to go into the best possible college of your choice, right? You don't want to just go to a random college, right, so that a recruitment agent sitting in India can make money off of you. If you're going to a recruitment agents because these are readily available, there are thousands of local mom and pop shops which are available, I would suggest don't completely bank on the advice and the guidance they are giving.
Can you tell us about like how much they charge, if I can ask you?
Recruitment agent side, they make typically upwards of 1.5 to till 3 lakhs as well, right, just by sending one student abroad in an institution. It depends upon the program, it depends upon the college, it depends upon the country as well. On the other side, there are admission counselors who actually work on your profile and your application and try to give you a best shot at the application. They charge around 1 to 5 lakhs as well.
Okay, so it's very important that you want to go for study, you should select very wisely and then you decide how
you want to ensure that is he suggesting me the right thing or not. If he has any partner colleges, the advice is going to be biased. And in that case, if you don't have any alternatives or if you cannot afford, maybe you have to do the research yourself and then figure out what's best for you.
Just adding on to what Dirghayu as well said, so I recently came across this profile. So the student was from one of the IITs. He had like 9 plus CGPA, going for masters abroad. So all in all, he had a decent profile. But just because he went to a consultant who had tie-up colleges, that person recommended him a college which was not so great. But again, uska apna quota fill ho gaya. But was that the right thing for that student? Maybe not. If you see from that perspective, a student graduating from maybe a northeastern university and a student graduating from Columbia will have a huge difference in their careers at the end of the day. But वही चीज है, ये चीज स्टार्टिंग में समझनी चाहिए when you are going through that application process initially. और जो कि एक biased advice मिलेगी आपको initially if you get to these wrong type of consultants.
Now I have a question on Ambitio. You've both founded Ambitio, and now you're generating revenue as well. So my question is, it is a bootstrap or did you have raised the fund?
No, we raised funds. We were very clear, right? We don't want to be a very small business. Of course, the profitability and the other unit economics are into the picture, but we don't want to be a lifestyle business per se, right? Our ambition lies in the impact which we can create, and that was one of the core motives, right? We left a very high paying job. We gave up our admission offers from top institutions abroad. Our goal was and our ambition was driven by the impact we wanted to create, and we figured if we want to make a dent in this, to create a world class product, because we are not incentivized to take easier ways of making money, which is essentially making money of the universities abroad. So we are funded in.
So during funding, because it is most complex, complexing, and tedious process. You have to go through the financial modeling, business planning, and investor will see you everything. So I think you work in ECEL in during IIT, so you may be familiar with how VC works. Did that help you to get funding easy, or for you also it was a complex? Like, it is the most difficult part of current situation. If you see, most of the founder wants to raise the fund, but it is very difficult.
I would say raising funds becomes easy if you understand what venture capital is and why would a VC will fund you, because it's essentially a transaction that happens between a startup founder and a venture capital. What happens is a lot of people don't understand what VC wants to see in your business, the right metrics. The startup has to be in the right market, the approach has to be right, and there has to be potentially large outcome that can be made in this space. So those things help if you understand them very well about the industry. A lot of first time founders in some ways struggle with that because it's not commonly taught. In my experience, because I have worked with a lot of founders, venture capitals, VC firms, angel investors, so I had in some way the 360-degree view of what it takes to get a funding and everything. So our raising first round was not very difficult. So we raised funding in 2023. We raised in March 2023. So we are backed by First Check, which is a micro VC arm of India Quotient, and afterwards we have also raised from V Founder Circle, angels and syndicates. All in all, we have raised around 400k.
So all are equity or debt?
No, all is equity. It's all is equity financing. So given the stage we are at, debt financing doesn't make any sense. So that thing is also there.
Like overall, I just wanted to ask you your journey, 1.5 years journey, both strategic planning or operation में क्या सबसे ज़्यादा difficult लगा, and how do you guys have come over on that?
Building the right team, building an A-class team, right, who is not just clocking in, clocking out, but actually is vested in the mission company holds, right, and giving their 200% each and every day is the key part and one of the key ingredients to every startup success you will see. So I think getting that right set of people is the most difficult and critical part as well. And we are glad we were able to get most of it right. So
yeah, usually it is not being discussed among a lot of people. Talk about multiple things related to marketing, sales, operations, but like if you have that team which is there for you, which stands by the vision on which company is built, then these people actually help you solve these smaller problems related to different verticals at the end of the day, right? And obviously, as once you have built those core set of people who are there and who are actually problem solvers for you, then the next step becomes like getting that PMF part. Okay, now this is the most critical thing. We understood the problem. The majority of people are facing this problem, but the solution that we created is like a 10x better solution as compared to what it is available in the market. So customers at the end of the day feel कि यार ये चीज़ ही चाहिए थी मेरे को, like this is what I wanted at the end of the day, and I'm really happy with the experience that I have. So like if you get the right team, they'll always help you to get there as soon as possible. तो अगर आप रेगुलर प्रोसेस में लेट्स से आपको 3 साल लगेंगे, तो एक अच्छी टीम अगर आप बिल्ड करते हो, then it will help you reach there in just 1 year also.
Yeah, so right team is very important. You are doing it a subscription model based, I would say B2C. So इसमें क्या होता है ना, बहुत सारे SEO पे काम करना पड़ता है. Your performance marketing and marketing team has to work on that. Are you investing in performance marketing or traditional marketing आप लोग use कर रहे हो?
Right. See, initially marketing is very crucial of the thing, because आप बता रहे हो लोगों को अपने प्रोडक्ट के बारे में कि यार हम क्या कर रहे हैं. Talking about a pre-seed stage startup, obviously you need to come up with very unique ideas which is not investment heavy. तो हम लोगों ने इसके ऊपर एक इंटरेस्टिंग चीज करी थी कि वी एनालाइज पास्ट 10 years का डेटा एंड सॉ कि कौन से ऐसे कॉलेजेस हैं इंडिया में फ्रॉम वेयर मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द पीपल गो अब्रॉड. तो हमने वो परेटो निकाला, क्योंकि दीज आर द कॉलेजेस जहाँ से मैक्सिमम जनता बाहर जाती है. then we used to organize guidance session in those colleges and then do boot camps around exams. तो GRE का एग्जाम देना होता है, IELTS का एग्जाम देना होता है, तो हम लोगों ने ऐसे सेशंस कराए एंड बूट कैंप्स कराए through which we used to get interest from a lot of people. So last year, if I talk about, I think in all the IITs, everyone was knowing कि okay, there is a GRE bootcamp which was being organized by Ambitio. So these are like unique things which you need to do at the start of the thing, and obviously एक बार आपको एक separate channel बनता है कि okay, this is what I have established, and then you grow in other channels as well, side by side.
So I just have one more question on positioning point of view. So how do you see the Ambitio, position in the market?
You can think of an Ambitio as your buddy in the entire admissions journey. So we are building AI admission experts for your entire admissions process that actually helps you build your profile, plan your application process, find the right set of colleges for you, and craft the application and make you stand out in front of the admission officers evaluating your college application. The whole of the platform is keeping student at the core of it. We don't make any money from universities abroad or any other model. Our platform is a freemium tool where we have a lot of free tools which a student can use. At the same time, there's a subscription layer where we actually work very closely with the students. You get a lot of additional tools that can actually help you and make you stand out in your college application. So we see ourselves standing in the admission counselors, premium admission counselor space, who are vested in students' success, at the same time being very affordable as well. The reason we are much more affordable when you compare it with other premium counselors is we are mostly data driven in our approach, and the whole of our platform doesn't rely on the availability of good admission expert in the market. We have more than 1.2 million admits data of Indian students who have gone abroad in past decade. Now that data helps us understand what kind of a profile gets accepted, what kind of an application gets accepted in what kind of a college. At the same time, we have also synced our platform with the university websites in real time. So the intelligence and the advice which we give to the students is real time, foolproof, and data backed. Much better than maybe I would say an admission expert as well.
So how did you get this data?
We sourced it manually, we cleaned it, right? There are a lot of forums. At the same time, we got a lot of data from LinkedIn as well.
I mean, at the end of the day, data is present in an unscattered way. So वही चीज़ है, if you get that and present all those things in a much more curated manner, so then you can channelize your energy in the right direction.
So now my next question on Vikrant, because he has been to ISL, he has got the opportunity. Like एक जब start करता है कोई higher education में जाने के लिए और abroad जाने के लिए, तो I just heard that time कि हाँ LOR process होता है, SOP होता है, statement of purpose, and you have to go write the transcript. So there are so many things is involved. So can you tell me about that process, like start from the application
Yeah, see,
process?
majorly I think सबसे पहले clarity होनी ज़रूरी है that what do I want to get out of this particular master's program. मतलब मेरे को product manager बनना है, consulting में जाना है या senior management में job करनी है, technical field में जाना है. So you need to understand that कि मेरा objective क्या है इस masters को करने का. And then you need to come up with another things, like for example, what are the right country for me, what are the right set of colleges for me, and then how does the application process works, and am I even eligible for these programs or not. तो फिर उसके बाद जब आप select कर लेते हो क्योंकि these are the right countries for me, let's say maybe a lot of people choose US and UK as their prime destination for going and studying abroad. The next thing becomes, am I eligible for these programs or not, and then you start working upon the application.
So how does your tools like copilot tools help here?
So यहाँ पे majorly what happens is we get this understanding from students. So even before when a student comes to our platform, we get an understanding from him what you have done in your journey so far, and then what do you want out of this process. Okay, I want to go to study for masters abroad, but my end goal is to stay in US and get the PR there. So a lot of people have different objectives out of this, and then considering their objective and their background, we try to recommend them the right set of programs which they have the more likely chance of getting admitted to and which can fulfill their objective as well. If you're not even aware about कि ऐसा कुछ program है and which can eventually fulfill what you want to do, then that becomes crucial. और यही चीज है कि जो market में the existing counselors might not be aware about. Okay. But since we already have all these things through data backed on our platform, the recommendation becomes even more better, right? And then obviously, like once you get the college list recommendation, the next things becomes like your SOPs, LORs, resume, and multiple steps about the application process. Right. So इसमें भी I think around the process what majorly happens, there are few documents which you need, which is like your transcripts. Then you need to get LORs from the professors, or maybe in the companies that you are working upon, people which you have been working with, right? And then the third thing becomes your SOP, which is the most crucial part. What is the statement of purpose? Why do you want to study for your master? The major thing which we need to highlight in that is why you are the right particular student for this program. So a lot of students come up and ask ki, what should I write in SOP? As Indian students, we don't have this awareness. India mein to aap bas ek exam do, if you have sorted that out, admission sorted. But when you go to US, you have to tell the admission counselor, why do you want to study? Why do you want to do this masters? आप वो तो बताओ. The reason why it is also important is because जब आप ये चीज लिखते हो, you also get to understand कि मेरे को ये जरूरत है भी या नहीं. बिकॉज जैसे इंडिया का मार्केट है कि ठीक है, अ लॉट ऑफ द पीपल गो फॉर इंजीनियरिंग एंड आई प्रिपेयर फॉर आईआईटीज, बट आपको वो करना क्यों है?
और इंडिया में ये प्रॉब्लम है, व्हाई क्लियर नहीं रहता है किसी का. दे वांटेड टू गो अब्रॉड समहाउ.
पास तो पता है बट क्यों करना ये नहीं पता.
सो इंडिया में ऐसा होता है कि पहले लोग इंजीनियर बनते हैं, फिर फिगर आउट करते हैं अब करना क्या है.
तो बहुत लोगों के साथ स्टोरी है. तो वंस द एप्लीकेशन प्रोसेस लाइक हो गया, मतलब एक्सेप्टेड, सो नेक्स्ट होता है इंटरव्यू कॉल, आई थिंक, इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग.
इट डिपेंड्स अपॉन प्रोग्राम टू प्रोग्राम मेजरली. कुछ प्रोग्राम्स जैसे मास्टर्स इन कंप्यूटर साइंस हुआ या MIMS या ऐसे कुछ प्रोग्राम्स हैं जिसमें इट इज नॉट रिक्वायर्ड एट ऑल, कि मतलब आप बस एप्लीकेशन प्रोसेस रैप अप करो एंड देन बेस्ड ऑन दैट ओनली यू गेट योर एडमिट्स. बट कुछ प्रोग्राम्स है लाइक मे बी MBA और सम मैनेजमेंट रिलेटेड अदर प्रोग्राम्स जहाँ पे दे वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड मोर अबाउट योर प्रोफाइल रादर देन जस्ट डॉक्यूमेंट्स. बिकॉज डॉक्यूमेंट्स में आप कुछ लिख सकते हो, बट आप फेस टू फेस एक पता चलता है कैंडिडेट के बारे में, दैट व्हाट ही थिंक्स, हाउ ही थिंक्स, राइट? And even in I think some of the programs in USA, the interview is not taken by admission officers but by the alum of those particular programs.
हाँ, मैंने ये सुना है कि एलम लोग ही लेते हैं इंटरव्यू.
करेक्ट. तो अगर आप मे बी स्टैनफोर्ड में जब अप्लाई करोगे MBA के लिए, तो कोई एडमिशन ऑफिसर आपका इंटरव्यू नहीं लेगा. एक स्टैनफोर्ड से ग्रेजुएटेड MBA स्टूडेंट ही आपका जज करेगा दैट इज ही स्टूडेंट वर्दी ऑफ.
So now next question is like once the application हो गया, interview call हो गया, and then financial aid. इंडिया में बहुत प्रॉब्लम है, as you know. How do you guys help them? मतलब बैंक लोन लेना है या स्कॉलरशिप, और बहुत सारे स्कॉलरशिप मिलते हैं, असिस्टेंट का, रिसर्च का. Did you get that time in ICL for any scholarship?
So at that point of time I had, but my scholarship was partially funded. It was not 100% funded, but I had a small chunk which was being awarded to me as a scholarship. As the market has also evolved, there are two things which rapidly change. मतलब you might have seen कि 2018-19 के बाद a lot of students now right now talking about studying abroad, going abroad and these things, because there are primarily two factors which have recently changed a lot. One is awareness about the process and second is about funding, access to financial capital to help me in my study abroad education. पहले 2010-2015 में लोगों को अवेयरनेस ही नहीं थी, बट राइट नाउ बिकॉज ऑफ दिस चेंज पीपल हैव बिकम अवेयर, मोर अवेयर अबाउट द प्रोग्राम्स दैट मैं भी बाहर पढ़ने जा सकता हूँ. एंड देन देयर आर लॉट ऑफ फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशंस अवेलेबल टू फंड माय एजुकेशन एज वेल अलॉन्ग विद द स्कॉलरशिप्स. तो यहाँ पे दो क्रिटिकल चीज होते हैं. वंस यू हैव रिसीव्ड योर एडमिट, आपका सब कुछ प्रोसेस हो चुका है, there are two things. One is you apply for scholarships, that happens during the application. So like at Ambitio we have also already created a platform which is called a scholarship related data, where you can see कि what all scholarships am I eligible for to apply, और आप उनके basis पे we recommend you that these are the 4, 5 or the 10 most suited scholarships which you can apply and you have a best shot at.
So financial scholarship भी हमको application के साथ ही भेजना पड़ेगा,
yes,
right?
So there are two type of scholarships. One is like provided by the college itself, वो आप same college के application के time पे apply करते हो, and then there are some scholarships which are like external scholarships जो like irrespective of college वो आपको provide करते हैं. For example, Fulbright scholarship. These people even fund your like from your flight ticket to your meal cost as well in US. तो अगर किसी स्टूडेंट को फुल ब्राइट स्कॉलरशिप मिलती है तो ही डजंट हैव टू पे अ सिंगल रुपी टू एनीवन. उसका कंप्लीट 100% एजुकेशन विल बी फंडेड.
एंड दैट्स वेयर योर टूल्स हेल्प्स देम.
एग्जैक्टली. तो जो स्कॉलरशिप वाला डेटा है वो यही आपको रिकमेंड करता है कि आपकी प्रोफाइल के बेसिस पे व्हाट इज द राइट स्कॉलरशिप्स फॉर यू एंड देन हाउ यू कैन इंप्रूव योर चांसेस ऑफ गेटिंग दिस स्कॉलरशिप. एंड देन अगेन लाइक स्कॉलरशिप भी नहीं मिलती, मतलब इट इज नॉट लाइक वेरी ऑफन कि हर किसी स्टूडेंट को मिल जाती है, बट देन देयर आर दीज फाइनेंशियल बैंक्स एंड इंस्टीट्यूशन थ्रू विच वी हेल्प स्टूडेंट्स कि these are the best interest rates through which you can get your loan sanctioned and then sort
so
of.
you have kind of people who can counsel.
Yeah, so we have tied up with a lot of banks in the space like which provides the best interest rates to student in terms of loans. And then like Ambitio we try to present it in a manner कि यार आप एक बार आओ and then you stay with us till the point you reach to your dream country or your dream college. तो end to end process में हम लोग help कर देते हैं वहाँ पे. And then like again financial process becomes one of the important factors there.
Okay. And like for visa के लिए कैसे prepare करने का?
वीजा का प्रोसेस जो आता है विच इज इट कम्स जस्ट बिफोर द फाइनेंशियल पार्ट. तो आपका एडमिट आता है. एडमिट आने के बाद यूजुअली यू गेट एन I-20 फॉर्म फ्रॉम द कॉलेज which states कि how much fund do you need as a student to stay in US. अब अगर आपको scholarship है तो then there is no fund mentioned in the I-20 form, but or it is mentioned that it will be funded by the college itself. But second case में when you don't have a lot of scholarship or you get partially funded, तो उसमें जो अमाउंट होता है then you have to sort that out and provide proofs for that fund. तो अगर आप बैंक के थ्रू प्रोवाइड कर रहे हो then you can directly provide a sanction letter through bank that okay I need 40 lakhs, this is the sanction letter for 40 lakhs and your visa will get approved, right? On the other hand, if you are funding through yourself, maybe through your parents or maybe through relatives, right, in that case you have to provide some valid documents which states कि okay you have this much amount within you so you can sustain there and you can finance yourself. और एक बार finance documents ready रहते हैं आपके, then you can just complete those documents, apply for the visa and then visa interviews there. और एक बार visa interview clear होता है then you grant it like in a matter of 7 to 10 days your visa arrives at the end.
So Vikrant, this question for you. Why should someone consider to study abroad?
See, one of the major factors that have recently intrigued a lot of students to study abroad is better life and better career prospects. Because recently the cost of studying in India for an undergraduate degree has been around 20-25 lakhs approx. So a lot of people have this notion कि अगर इंडिया में ही 25 लाख खर्च करना है तो why not spend 40-50 lakhs and get a better education abroad, right? Because मेरे job prospects भी better होंगे, मेरा career भी better होगा and I'll have a better opportunity for life as well, right? So a lot of people think कि it makes more sense for me to spend rather than 25 lakhs in India and get a job of 5 or 10 lakhs, which is like the average salary which people receive after their undergraduate in India. It makes more sense to go abroad and have that opportunity to do better in this global scale.
So Dirghayu, this question to you. So बहुत सारे Indian student they want to get admission into Ivy League schools, but what they see in the profile to select you?
So Ivy League schools have a typical application acceptance rate of less than 5%. They are very rigid in who they let in. Technically, they look for the right set of profile and how those profile is being communicated through statement of purpose, application, essays, in the letter of recommendations. And the most important part is every university is different in their own way. For example, Stanford and Columbia look for extracurricular leadership activities in your student's profile. At the same time, MIT, Yale, Princeton are research oriented. They look for research and stronger academic rigor in a student's profile. So an applicant must project his profile in the application in a very specific way what that admission officer wants to see.
So Vikrant, based on your experience, is there any way to study free in abroad?
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of students are not aware of this particular thing, but you can actually study abroad for free as well. So there are two type of scholarships, internal and external. So while applying for colleges, there is a checkbox form where you can say that I need financial assistance, and then you project yourself as a candidate to avail the scholarship. And then apart from that, there are external scholarships like Fulbright scholarships, which not only pays your flight ticket but even your cost of a meal that you take in US as well. So which makes your complete entire journey of studying abroad completely absolutely free, right? So there are these external and internal scholarships which you can apply, improve your profile and then get your education for free. Correct.
So Dirghayu, tell me top 3 mistakes student make while applying colleges abroad.
Yeah, so number one mistake students make is starting late. Ideally, you should start at least 6 months in advance of your application deadline so that you have the right time to plan the entire application process that gives you a best shot. The second mistake they make is not applying to the right set of colleges because of lack of proper research. Third mistake which people make is not giving enough time to your application essays and getting the right set of LORs and the resume as well. This is the crucial part because this is the where you project your profile in front of the admission officers. And the last mistake which a student can make is not signing up on the Ambitio.
So Vikrant, due to recession and there is a war and this unprecedented geopolitical changes are there, you can say that the recession is there. So this is the good time to study abroad.
No, indeed, a very good question, I would say, because a lot of students have this notion कि jobs नहीं है market में, people are not getting jobs and everything. A lot of students come up with this question, right? But I particularly think this is the right time to study abroad, or even this is the best time. Because if I start to plan go abroad in 2025, right? So I'll be graduating in 2027. We have always seen that after a recession, there is always a steep growth as well in the economy. So by the time you are seeing the scenario right now, okay, recession is right now, but it will not be sustained for more than 3 years, right? Every country have a downturn, and then they have a very steep growth after every 6 months or a year. So by the time a student will graduate, it will be the best time or a glorious time to get your jobs abroad, right? So I particularly recommend students that this is the best time.